Hello, youth of the world. Brilliant to have you today on the first day of lockdown. Today is Trail Mix Friday, and Trail Mix Friday is about giving you a little bit of everything to keep you going. So if you think of a trail mix, you know, when you go on a hike or when you go riding, you've got a trail mix and it's got berries and fruit and nuts and all sorts of things in it, but it keeps you going on your journey to your destination. And that's what we want to do with the Trail Mix Friday. Give you lots of different things to think about, to chew on, to keep you going for Jesus. My name is Nick, and if you're from Christchurch, from Slanga, Zeal Youth, you're a friend of a friend, it is brilliant to have you. Stay with us. Today we're going to be looking at books that will help you, a Zeal Appeal, questions from the crowd, the Ginger Ninja on the couch, and my personal favorite is the Corona Lucky Draw Challenge. So stay with us, chat in the chat. It's going to be amazing. Great, let's get going with the first part of Trail Mix Friday. Let's dip those little fingers in and pull out the book bit. Okay, the book bit. So girls, high school girls, we've got an amazing book for you. This changes everything. It's written by Jaquelle Crowe, who's a teenage Christian, and this is what she says about her book. She says, it's for those of us who don't want to spend our adolescent years slacking off, but rather standing out and digging deep into what Jesus says about following him. Sounds like a brilliant book. High school boys, here's yours. Get into reading Unashamed. It's written by the Grammy award-winning Christian Lecrae, and he shares his journey of faith, his struggle with identity. I love this quote. Have a listen to this. He says, if you live for people's acceptance, you'll die from their rejection. If you're interested in reading these in a book club, please get hold of your discipleship group leader and they'll tell you what it's going to look like. Now, junior youth, we haven't forgotten about you. Don't worry. We've got the perfect book for you. Scary times. This book is called Fearless and it's written by a guy called Jonty, Allcock. What I love about this book, at the end of each chapter, it's got a bunch of questions. So you can sit with your mates, or you can sit with your mom or your dad, and you can actually journal the answers to those questions. Guys, the information about where you can get these books will be in the description below, but get stuck into it. The great philosopher Socrates said this, an unexamined life is not worth living. An unexamined life is not worth living. So challenge your mind, open your mind, hear what other people have to say about life. Get those books. Get into a book club. Cool. Now we're over to the Ginger Ninja on the Convos on the couch. Ciao. Hi guys, welcome to Convos on the couch.
Yeah.
Mike, good to have you.
Good to be here.
It's our first Convos on the couch every Friday. We have Friday froth. Mike, we just like to mash it up and we're just going to throw whatever questions to you. So loosen up.
Yeah.
You'll be okay. We want it raw and real. Okay, come on, boy. All right. Mike, so a lot of people don't know who you are. Who are you?
I am Michael. I love the children of the church and try to make them know Jesus. That's who I am.
That's your job.
That's
awesome.
my job.
How do we know each other?
We are flatmates.
We are flatmates.
Yeah.
And we are...
Brothers in Christ.
Brothers in Christ. We're not roommates.
No.
Okay, I always say, Mike, we are roommates. And he says, no, we're not roommates, we're housemates. Why aren't we roommates?
Because we don't stay in a room together. We stay in the flat together.
But I visit you quite a bit in the room.
You do come in my room quite a bit. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's always a very interesting experience.
Okay. So now, Mike, I'm looking at you on the couch today and you've got lovely short jeans. And you got like a cool stripy shirt.
Because I have someone in my life who helps me with helps me look good.
Okay.
And she bought this and not this. This is why this looks better than this.
Okay. So that's what I want to cut to.
Okay.
You got someone special in your life. Okay. I was thinking a lot of our guys out there, including me, find women terrifying. And that's not completely true.
Okay.
But Eileen is your girlfriend.
She is.
You've been together 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, I look at her. She's intelligent. She has it all.
Yeah.
How did you get it?
God is very kind.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's
What is your like little nickname for it? Can I be honest? You know, like Bubsy Wupsy or
I do call her my princess.
Sorry, can someone bring me a bucket, please?
Yeah.
No, I'm just joking. That's very cool. What does she call you?
I don't know. You'd have to ask her.
Okay, probably Liffy or Liefling or Bokkie or something like that.
Maybe, but I'm not telling you.
Okay. All right. So Eileen, you've been together 2.5 years.
Yeah.
1.5 of those years you were actually apart. You were in London and she was in Cape Town.
Yeah, I was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys plan to get married?
That is
Maybe.
That is the purpose of this relationship.
Okay, that's why you're dating.
That is why.
Okay. So why did you pick her?
So I had a simple guiding rule.
Okay.
I want to find someone who's godly.
Okay.
And if I find someone who's godly, I'm going to ask them out for coffee, and then we'll see what happens.
Okay, so godly, then coffee.
That's it.
That's simple, man.
And 2.5 years later, here I am.
Okay, so what do you mean by godly? Like for our guys, like how do we know what that looks like?
Someone who loves Jesus more than they love anyone else, even you.
Okay.
And like there are examples in the Bible.
Okay.
So I cheated a bit.
Yeah.
So at that time, 2.5 years ago, I had written a talk for my brother's wedding. Mm-hmm. I was the best man, and I'd used.
And that's where you met Eileen, right?
That's where I met
Eileen. At the wedding.
At the wedding, and I'd used Proverbs 31 as a guide to actually talk about my brother's wife.
Okay.
Because I read it and then said how it described her.
Yeah, I mean Proverbs 31 is quite long. It's quite a long list of.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a shopping list almost
of God's ideal woman for marriage.
Yeah.
And
kind of what stood out from there? What is it about?
So it has a bunch of stuff and it has some surprising things, but the headlines would be a woman who loves God. Yeah. So that's loves and fears God. So a woman who knows who God is and rightly fears Him, but also rightly loves Him. Okay. Knows that He's a righteous God who hates sin, and so fears Him, but knows that He's a loving God who saves sinners, and so loves Him. Yeah. And so that mixture of loving God for fear is kind of the first part. So that's a godly woman. Okay. And the second thing, which is surprising, is a woman who's hardworking. Okay. Yeah. So and Proverbs 31 is weird in that it merges kind of hardworking at your job and kind of hardworking at home in the way that she takes care of the house, and it merges them together into this woman who takes care of her job and her home. And the example it gives is she makes sure that everybody in the household has warm jackets for when winter comes. And so that you do by making sure your job works well, but you also are taking care of the house. So it's not a housewife, but it's hardworking in all manners of your life.
Yeah, so it's interesting. So it's not hardworking to be successful.
No, it's
success, but in a different way. It's kind of like to take care of.
Yeah. Take care of
what God has given you, people and
everyone
in the house.
Everyone that you're responsible for.
So those are really attractive attributes, right? I mean, it would be horrible to be with someone or date someone that is just lazy. Yeah. Which is it's not very attractive.
No, and
it doesn't look after themselves and doesn't care for others. Yeah. Cool. So, and fearing God, I mean, what does fearing God look like? It sounds quite, I know you've touched on it.
Yeah, so fearing God.
How's that attractive? Like when you think of Eileen, where do you see her fearing God?
So I know.
Does she walk away around like, or
so the way it works itself out is it's actually quite humbling. So in every decision, or in every kind of area of our relationship, she'll make the choice that shows that God is number one in that choice. Not me, not her, and not the relationship. So there's been times when she's said yes to things, or no to things, or disagreed with me on things. And it's because she's been thinking about God as number one. And
so it's not just because this is what I think is important, my opinion, or no, actually this is what God says.
Yeah, and so that's what it means. So it means that God is number one, and I love and fear His opinion on everything, above mine and above hers.
Which is difficult to do when you really care about someone.
It is hard.
Because there's another fear in play there. You're fearing that if you're really honest about what you think about God and what He says, that this other person will go, well, then I actually don't really want to be with you in this relationship, right?
Yeah, so being in a relationship takes courage.
Yeah.
It takes courage to be vulnerable and say, actually, this is what the Bible says when I read it.
Yeah.
This is what I believe God says. And so there's been times when I've disagreed with her and I've said, this is what God says, and she's disagreed. And then it comes back to that step 2, coffee. And so there were even some topics where we said, okay, wow, we disagree on this. Let's take a month. We took a month. We didn't talk about it for a month. And purposefully, and we both researched it, we dug into the Bible, and we came back to it.
But Mike, surely she's got to be hot. I mean, that's what all the teens are thinking. She's got to be hot. I mean, that's number 1 on the list, yeah.
So, the Bible doesn't really put that high on the
Bible
list.
talks about beautiful women.
It does, but it also
Talks about beautiful men as well.
It says beauty is fleeting.
True.
Beauty is fleeting. So
what does fleeting mean? Is that like a lot of cars?
Fleeting means that it flees, it runs away.
Yeah.
So
fades away.
Give it 20 years and I'm going to look less.
You're going to look like me.
Yeah.
20 years time, Michael is going to look like me.
And in 20 years, you're going to look like...
Rat.
Yeah.
Or worse.
We're all on the hill going down.
Yeah.
Okay, some of you guys, you're going up. That's fair. You're heading towards the peak.
Yeah.
Whether it's 25 or 30, you're getting good, and then it's all downhill.
Yeah.
And it's the same for women.
Yeah.
And so...
But it's not completely not important.
No.
So what part does it play? Oh, that's our timer. So we've got a couple more minutes and then we're done.
So I had a lecturer and he said this. You want to find a woman, it's not in the Bible, but I think it's helpful. You want to find a woman whose face you're happy to wake up next to every morning for the rest of your life.
Okay, we've got to stop this there.
Okay.
Because we've got about another minute.
Okay.
But my worry is there's a 12, 13-year-old guy sitting here watching this thinking, flip, I've got a date to get married.
Okay.
So, when are you ready to date?
I'd say just make friends. Make friends until you're ready to settle down and find someone to marry.
Yeah.
That's it. And the cool thing about making friends is you'll discover a godly woman. And then 5, 10, 15 years later, you have a bunch of friends. And guess what? You can say to one of your friends, hey, you want to grab a cup of coffee?
Yeah.
And if you're friends and then you stay friends, that's fine.
Cool.
And if something else happens, that's fine as well. Yeah.
Cool.
So,
well, it's been good hanging out with you.
Yeah, it's been good.
Nice. Did you enjoy the coffee?
It was good coffee.
It's always good coffee, man.
He does make
It's from Beaver Creek. Quality, mate. Quality. Guys, if you've got more questions or comments on anything, we want to stump Mike, we want to make him feel uncomfortable. Look at him, he's so awkward. He's got his little fingers like this. Earlier he was sitting like this. But Joe, if you've got any questions, nothing's too silly. We're going to pose them to Mike and we're just going to chat about it and just be honest about some of our struggles and ways that God has been really faithful to us and helped us. Cool. Ciao.
See you guys.
I love my housemate Michael Brown, full of wisdom, full of fun. It was great having convos with him on the couch. Now, questions from the crowd. We love it when you guys ask questions, and we've got a brilliant question for you today. So here it is. Why did God put us on this ball called Earth in this black space called a galaxy or galaxies? It's a great question. If you think about this little ball called Earth in the middle of space, it does kind of make you feel very small and insignificant. You know, especially because there are over 100 billion galaxies out there. So you do kind of feel like, what's the point? What's my purpose? And you can understand why people even get quite sad and depressed about that. So I've got 4 quick things from the Bible to show you what our purpose is and why we do matter. So here's the first thing. The first thing is that God cares about His creation. So if you go all the way to the beginning of the Bible, if you go to Genesis 1 and even Genesis 2, it's all about how God made everything. And if you go and you look in Genesis 1 and you count the number of times you see God or the word God appear in Genesis 1, you'll see it's something like 30 times in one chapter. And so you just see that God was very, very intricately involved in every part of making the earth and the galaxies and the universe. And so he really does care about his creation. In fact, right at the end of making everything, he looks at it and he goes, wow, I'm so pleased with this. It's perfect. It's just the way I want it. Now, if you guys think when you do homework, or you do chores at home, often it's a quick little cleaning of the dishes, or scribble your homework down, or, it's a half-hearted effort. We don't take care with a lot of things we do. But God wasn't like that. When he made the earth, when he made everything, he was there every step of the way, taking care of it. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, if you look at people, people are a special part of God's creation. So in Genesis 1 verse 26, I think it is, God says that he's going to create man in his own image to rule over creation, to rule over all the creatures. So what does it mean to be created in God's image? Well, I think if you think of an image, you think of a selfie or a photo, or even a reflection. God has created us, our whole lives, to be a picture of, or a reflection of who God is and what God is like. So when we tell the truth and people see that, we're kind of reflecting what God is like, that he is a true God, that he is a trustworthy God. When we care for someone, we're reflecting what God is like. We're reflecting that God cares about people and that he's compassionate. And so we're starting to see, though we're in this creation that God has made with care, he especially cares about people, that we start to feel not so insignificant anymore. Okay, third point. The problem is we want to get all the glory. We want to reflect our own glory. In Romans 1:21 it says this, for although they knew God, they neither glorified him as God nor gave thanks to him. So it's this idea that humans, the way we just made, is that we don't thank God, we don't give God the glory, we don't try and live a glorious life for God. We are just concerned with our own glory. We love it when people say, well done, you're amazing, and we get all the praise. And so there's a problem there. But the great news of the Bible is that Jesus forgives us, and then he helps us to be glorious for God, to reflect his glory. Okay? So if you think of a mirror, right, we kind of like, and a mirror reflects images, right? And so we all kind of like mirrors, but the problem with our mirrors is that they're badly smudged. They're badly smudged with sin, and so we just can't actually do what God created us to do, which was to reflect him and his goodness. And so something has to happen. So Jesus comes along, and we need something really powerful to clean that smudge or clean that stain so that we can reflect who God is. And Jesus, by shedding his own blood, cleans us, right? He wipes us clean from the deepest part of ourselves. He cleans us from the inside out. And so now we can reflect God and show other people who God is and why he's so great and why he's so glorious. And so what happens is, over time, we start to be a mirror that really reflects God more and more accurately. And we start to think like God, we start to feel like God, we start to talk like God, and we act like God, and we give people these pictures of who God is. And so we've got a very important part to play on this planet in glorifying God and showing other people who and what God is like. So I hope you can see we're not just random pieces of meat on the planet. We just just here, and then we die, and then it's the end of things. No, God really cares about his creation. He really cares about people. We're a special part of his creation, and we've been created to reflect his glory because he is glorious. So if you're not doing that, maybe you're not a Christian, maybe the first thing you need to do is ask Jesus to clean you, clean your heart, clean your mirror, so that you can start shining for him. Cool, I hope that's helpful. I think we're going to go to the Zeal Appeal and hear what Connor has to say. Cheers.
Welcome guys to Zeal in my bedroom. I did not think it would ever come to this. Strange times. I'm going to get straight into my point with a story. So I was driving down the road the other day to the church or next house to set up the setup you're seeing there. Maybe I was going to fetch Josh, I can't remember. but I saw a guy walking down the road who I know. He helps work on the gardens here in my complex. So I stopped to offer him a lift. He gets in and we start talking about the lockdown, because of course it's the biggest news in South Africa we've had in ages. And I asked him, hey, are you going to get paid during this time? And he said, no, he's actually not. And that's the reality for a lot of people. A lot of people are not able to work during this time, and they're not going to get paid either. So for at least 21 days, they're basically unemployed, and they're stuck at home, not able to make any money. And here at Zeal, we're all about passionately pursuing Jesus for lives of purpose. And one of the purposes that Jesus gives to us is to love each other, to put your neighbor first. And we can do that financially, and that's what we're going to do. So a few of the youth actually have put this thing together called the Zeal Appeal. You can donate into a bank account, and that money will then go to supporting some people in Shaiamoya who aren't able to work during this time. Now we've got a church in Shaiamoya, Christchurch Shaiamoya. It's an area that's not quite as privileged as us, and they will need the financial support during this time. Even before the lockdown started, a lot of people had lost their jobs because of the virus, and they've already taken a big financial hit, and the crime rates are already starting to rise. And like I said, this is the first day of lockdown, and it's already hitting them hard. So they really are going to need the financial support. There's a poster with the bank details there. You can send whatever you can scramble together from your pocket money, or you can ask your parents, and you can donate it to that bank account. It's Christchurch North Coast bank account with the reference to Zeal Appeal, and we'll push it through to Shaiamoya. So thanks guys, it would be such a big help to them, and I think it would give you a taste of going on mission as well. Cheers.
Wakey, eggs and bakey. Guys, it is coronavirus lucky draw challenge time. I want you to read Matthew 5-7 by Monday. And when you've done that, you just let your leader know. Your leader will tell me, and I'll enter you in the lucky draw for next week, Friday's trail mix. Come on, I think you can do it. Go for it. Do it. You got time. It's a lockdown. No excuses. Come on. Open your mind. Open your heart. Do it. It'll be worth it. Guys, we hope you've enjoyed Trail Mix Friday. I hope you had a little bit of something or a little bit of everything to keep you going for Jesus, keep you thinking about the important things in life. And we look forward to seeing you on Wednesday for our next live stream in the series, Jesus and Faith in an Anxious World. See you then. Bring mates. Awesome.